Yo, guys, what's going on? Lucky Rave is back again to give you guys a live stream discussion slash review on Fairy Tale 100 Years Quest, episode 2. And this episode was interesting in a couple more ways than I could even describe it. Now, obviously, the first episode, but by and large, just getting Fairy Tale back in anime form, seeing what we were able to get, amazing, right? So you have to kind of wonder with JC staff taking over. We know how great they did on episode 1. Were they able to maintain the same quality when it came to the second episode? And you're probably wondering, well, Lucky, are you? What's the update? Is it good? Is it bad? Like, give us something, please. I will go ahead and say, as far as the second episode goes, pretty decent. Okay, they did really, really well with episode 2. And I want to just go through what was actually covered from the manga. And which, speaking of that, for any manga readers out there, please, this is my only one piece of advice: do not spoil future events for anime onlys, because I know a lot of anime onlys have been waiting for 100 Years Quest. So much like how we waited patiently for the manga, let's not spoil what's about to come for the anime, because I'm gonna just say right now, anime onlys, y'all are gonna be in for a treat. Okay, if y'all thought what we have here was anything, just wait for future events, because the future events is gonna be something else entirely. But that's it. Let's start off with where I said first. Where the second episode, can't even talk today, can I? Where the second episode kicks off. So we're in the city of Ermina, right? And our characters go to, Hotel Journey. And they come across a fish and they're like, wait, what the hell? Which I thought was actually kind of amusing, because they're all thinking, oh, might just be a welcoming party from like Natsu. But come to find out, no, Fish guy's a manager. That shocks everybody. Welcome to Hotel Journey. Like, it's pretty much like a place where they kind of have the ability, the resistance, the residents. I really cannot speak today, can I? But yeah, the residents are there, and they are they're letting Team Natsu, Team Natsu, Gray, Lucy, Wendy, Urza, Happy, Carl. They're letting them all know. Yeah, if you want my advice, drink this little potion. That's gonna help you. They don't specifically say why until they drink it, and because of that, you know, they wake up, or at the very least, Gray wakes up a little bit later, and through Gray, we kind of get to see that the city's underwater, and they're like, "What the hell's going on?" And of course, Natsu's been awake for a while. Same thing with Lucy, Wendy, Urza, who's playing with Shark Cat, or Sharkina, I should be saying. Then you got Happy and Carla too. But case in point, city's underwater, and apparently it's like one of the natural gifts of the place. But the manager does mention that, hey, if you don't have this potion, there's no way. That's his like catchphrase. If you will. He just says no way. There's no way you'll survive. I do then. They're all left in confusion. What's his story? Actually, that kind of gets me to point out something. Compared to the last episode, this one does have a couple cuts, and I'm gonna go into what exactly those cuts are from the episode. So, the one part that got cut is this little comment from Lucy. Lucy's talking about, like, I'm tired of walking, this place will be fine. Natsu talks about, like, it's free. And Lucy again points out, like, no, it isn't. We'll leave them some money. And Happy still kind of left bothered, like, hey, what's wrong? I lost my appetite for fish. Now I sympathize with that. So this whole section, is it kind of a big deal that they cut it out? I want to say no, but it would have been nice to see like some of that being included. But basically, the last part we kind of get from the episode from like the manga in this portion is just the reaction phases. And then after that, we just cut to Gray just waking up. So we missed like a small portion of like content from the manga. At least for this part. Again, I wouldn't say it's like anything like super major per se. I mean, it's fun for the most part, but you know, it is what it is. Yeah, like Gray wakes up, he's like trying to figure out like what's going on. And when Gray's like holding on to his breath thinking he can't breathe, he realizes, wait, oh wait, yeah, I can breathe. And I can talk too. Like I said, town underwater. There's a bunch of fish. Okay, someone explain this to me. That's where Natsu pops up. Yo, up and about, Gray. Natsu. Check it out, we're under the sea. And like I said, this is where Wendy and Lucy were there. They're like, but even with all this underwater, we can still breathe like normal. Like they're just enjoying their time. Same thing with Tabby and Carla, who's currently in human form. It's so beautiful. Fish everywhere. And like I said, Urza is having a race against Sharkina. A race? You're on, Sharkhead? I'm glad you're all having so much fun. Oh, everyone took their medicine, I see. Potion, medicine, same difference. Essentially, it is the same difference when it comes to what's there, Nothing like too ordeal. That drought gives the less Poseidon among us some help in the water. Basically, I know I'm just kind of reading through the manga, but basically, what's in the animes from the manga too, for the most part, right? Again, there's a few cut corners, but I want to just dissect what we have from the episode and like just translate what was in the manga as a compare and contrast. Even the reception desk. Oh, forgive me for not introducing myself. And it's basically, Kashima who he introduces himself. He's manager of Hotel Journey, and he talks about something wrong. And Gray talks about there being something wrong with the town, but he points out no, nothing's wrong with the town. It's simply high tide. We've gone completely aquatic here. This is a town of fish folk, and these are our true forms. So what's with looking like humans the rest of the time? Well, and again, this is like a back and forth conversation between Gray and Kashima. Well, you'd be very surprised to see a fish at the reception desk. Yeah, we were. You should have told us. No way. That would have spoiled the surprise. Obviously. Of course, you see Natsu and Happy. So excited. Wahahaha. I think my swimming has gotten better. That's another effect of the medicine. Like I said, Urza having a great time with Sharkette, just raising her. But the manager points out, yeah, for the record, that's not Sharkette. That's actually somebody else altogether. I think I heard about this on a fairy tale once. You mean a story about the ocean? And Lucy points out, yeah, a man rescued a turtle. Rescued a turtle some kids were tormenting, and to thank him, the turtle took him under the sea. And this part's actually kind of funny because it kind of lays out with what happens to Wendy a little later on in the episode. But Wendy asks, so what happened? And Lucy just says, well, he got changed into a jellyfish. And that kind of gets Wendy thinking, jellyfish? Like, she kind of just imagines herself. But Gray just asks one simple question to the manager. And he asks, so we're kind of looking for the water dragon guy. Do you happen to know anything? And as soon as that happens, like, the manager just gets like and I mean like super peeved. He's He's like, no, 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 no. We're not dealing with this. No way. No way, no way. Again, his famous tagline, no way. That's essentially what happens. He's just saying, no, I'm refusing to help you. This is not going to happen under my account. Get out of here. And he's even saying this: we will not permit you to lay a finger on Suijin-sama, who we come to find that is the name of the water dragon god. And I think that was referenced in the last episode too, if I remember correctly, from you know, his aid, if you will. But you see what happens from Gray's reaction. You see Happy just playing with fish, chasing after them, and the fish all of a sudden. This is ironic, actually. The fish just comes straight for Happy, and he starts running away. Same thing with Natsu, and this little race that goes on between Sharkina and Urza. Like Urza notices, like, wait, what the heck? What's the big idea, Sharkette? And she's like, I'm not Sharkette. I'm Sharkina. Carla asks, like, well, what? They're suddenly attacking us. And Wendy says, are they going to be turned into jellyfish? Or no, aren't they? Are we going to get turned into jellyfish? And then Wendy notices, not Wendy, Lucy notices one of them like unstrapping her bra. And that causes Lucy, not even just unstrapping it, they just like take it away. A little fan service moment right there. And they're like, well, what do you think you're doing? That's it. That's it. It's on it, you jerks. That's what Natsu says. And Urza says, hey, stop it, Natsu. Don't touch them. We need to fall back. And this is something that the anime cut from the actual manga. Because in the manga, you actually have Natsu, dashing over towards Lucy and just grabbing her. And Lucy goes like, my swimsuit. But the anime, you don't really have the scene. It's not. I mean, again, it's a very minor yet cute moment for Nalu with like him coming out to like grab Lucy in time. But I mean, would it have been cool to see? Yeah, honestly, I would have been really happy if we got a scene like if we got this moment from the manga in the anime. It's just one of those things of like, well, you're covering 4 chapters in this episode, so you gotta cut corners somewhere. And I mean, in the grand scheme of things, this moment in particular, I will say is like super minor. Like if this was a significant, and I'm being genuinely honest here, this was a significant like Nalu moment. Like there's moment in particular that I'm sure a lot of manga readers can agree with me on. If they cut corners around that, I'd be more annoyed. This one doesn't bother me too much, per se. Like I said, it's a shame we didn't get this in the anime. But it's a trade-off, in a lot of ways. Like I said, it's unfortunate we're not getting this. I would have loved to see like just this moment, just actually happen on screen. But sometimes you just got to take what you get. And then of course, you got the manager going like, no way, don't let them escape. They're just like the last humans who came through here. And that gets great attention. Like, wait, last humans? What the hell? And, they're all rushing away. They're escaping. And we only cut over to Magnolia only for an instance. So, we see Lisana, we see Mira, they're talking to Toka. And they're basically asking the question of, hey, so what kind of magic do you use, Toka? And we got the Juvia comparisons last episode, right? Now, this solidifies it to a T. Because Toka reveals that she uses water magic. And Lisana's like, oh, just like Juvia. And I'm like, wow, you two can't be more similar than anything, right? Like, not only are they head over heels, again, 2 different guys, mind you, but the fact that they're so madly in love with a guy, okay, Juvia over Gray, and Toga over Natsu, and they both use water magic. That's now, granted, the way they're going about it is a little different because Toka you know, she does actually have faith that Natsu will return. That's a big thing right there. Juvia, different case altogether. Sure, Toka will like gush about Natsu to like the umpth degree, but she's not gonna be like, I want to go after him. She's like, no, unlike that one over there, I have faith he'll come back. It's kind of nice. Though, kind of like the last episode, there is that little suspension of doubt. Like, wait a minute. There's something about Toka that just doesn't feel right. And you got that from both Gajil just like observing the scene. And like that even happens like in this brief section too. Because you got Juvia thinking like, wait, hold on. That that's too similar. What the heck? Like, why? And Toga makes this like cheeky remark, like, "Oh, how goodness!" To think like I'm like that close to being someone like you know Juvia over there, and she makes like this like sly remark against Gray, and that like pisses Juvia off. And Gajo's like, "Hey, relax. Is gonna be totally fine. Don't tangle with the tiger in this case until you have him by the tail." Which you notice that for like a brief instant. Like there's a tail that just pops like right behind Toka, and they're just like, wait, hold on a second. Like hold the phone. There's a tail. And as far as manga goes, that's actually the ending of chapter 4. Because in chapter 5, we continue off from that, okay? So, like, the way the anime does, it's like a very seamless transition. And Toka looks over, tail's gone. She's like, wait, what's this about a tail? And you have this, nice conversation between Lisana and me are talking about tails. It's kind of cute. Elfman's like, let's not talk about that. But these two, Gajil and Juvia, they're both like talking like, wait, hold on. Did you see the tail? I saw the tail too. Panther Lily even pointed out, like, yeah, no, it's not just you two. I also saw the tail with my own eyes. And Levy's the only one who's like, you sure you two aren't imagining things? Like, this is fishy. This is mad fishy. I think y'all are thinking a little too much on this. Y'all have to. No way. No way. You know what I mean? But Cup, and then we cut over to Sabretooth, where we see Serrano. Nice moment with her and her sister Yukino. And she's like, yeah, my little sister continues to be the most cutest thing in the world. And of course, I said Serrano. And of course, Yukino also complimenting her sister back. She's like, yeah, and you look as beautiful as ever, big sister. And this is where my boy Jalal enters the fray once more. Dude, when I saw Jalal, I was like, dude, it's been forever. Not complaining because Jalal is awesome for all cases and points across. But let's say it like this. Okay? So he's there. And the reason why he's there is because he's trying to maintain some information regarding a person, right? And this is where Sting and Rogue both show up. Funny note, they also have like a backhand comment to Serrana about being like, yeah, she hasn't really caused any problems, but she's kind of noisy. And she's like, wait, I am not noisy. Bro thinks so. And Lecter's kind of like, yeah, it's been a while, Jalal. But he's like, yeah, I just happen to be in the area. That's what Jalal mentions. But basically, what he informs them of is that he's looking for someone. And he's just wanting to know if they're able to find this person. Who or what is she, is what Lecter's saying. And then Jalal basically goes on to say, like, yeah, I can't say right now, but I got a bad feeling about her. And Minerva makes the one compliment, not even compliment, she just makes the tease of like, hey, oh, so you're chasing after someone who's not Urza. And he's like, no. That's not what's going on here. Don't even take that for a second. There is no, just stop. We are not doing that. But Serrano points in, yeah, she's kind of cute. And Yukino, so what's her name? Jalal lays it out flat. She goes by Toka, though that may not be her real name. Toka. And he just warns them, if you see her, do not engage her under any circumstances. And from that point on, we just cut over to Ermina. And I think that's like the only part of this episode where we get the Gajil and Levy stuff. And of course, the stuff with Jalal visiting Sabretooth. I think that's like the only yeah, no, that is the only portion. Because from here on out, we just focus back on Ermina. You know, Natsu and the gang are all hiding. Lucy's trying to figure out what's going on. Lucy, of course, has Natsu's scarf on. And you get this actually pretty funny moment between Natsu and Lucy, where Natsu's like, I want my scarf back. And Lucy's like, hey, they stole my swimsuit. Well, like, what am I supposed to do about it? And, you know, Natsu can be pretty playful. He can be a little dead sometimes. But even Natsu has his points, too, of like, hey, you could always just change into one of your spirit outfits. And Lucy's like, hey, that's a great. Wait, hold on. Well, now, why are you pulling all this all of a sudden? And he's like, just because. Basically, Natsu being Natsu. That's essentially what's going on over here. There's something else that bothers me, is what Gray is saying. And he's thinking about this and wondering, like, there must have been, like, other visitors that came by. And with all that going on, you see what happens. Get this funny moment with Natsu and Lucy. Let's turn them all into fried fish. And Lucy just whacks him on the head saying, no. Those fish are just protecting their own faith. Don't they seem like, and they don't seem like such bad people to me. But Natsu very coyly says, even the one who pulled off your swimsuit, and Lucy's like, he's the only exception. That's the one person who I'm gonna scrawl perv on. That doesn't sound right, but y'all know what I mean. Like, he's just gonna scream perv. That's what Lucy's gonna do. She's just gonna scream the word perv! Just like that. I agree. It's not like they're evil. Otherwise, why would they have helped us breathe underwater? And I know I'm reading, a lot of what I'm reading just comes from the manga, but let's be fair. Adaptation was, for the most part, pretty faithful, okay? So I just go through the events with you guys. But our goal is to bring down the water dragon god. Whether these guys like it or not, that's our job. And Lucy brings up one important fact from the episode, which is that, keep in mind, we have to seal the dragon gods. Killing them was not necessarily an option. And that kind of gets Natsu off a little bit. And he's just kind of thinking, like, man, but we gotta take them down, right? That just means destroy them. No, not necessarily. Sealing just means, just keeping them like locked up. And even though Natsu's feeling a little pouty about it, or they're gonna give them a pat on the head saying, hey, don't be that unhappy about it. You know better than anyone, not all dragons are like, cruel and evil. And our place in this quest is not to kill, is to survive. And not to just hold in his pride saying, okay, fine, I won't kill any of the dragons. We won't do anything. But if they lay even a single finger, or in this case, fin, on you guys, I'm gonna wreak havoc. That's the only time he'll do something if something happens. But going from there, you get this moment where Lucy comes up with a great idea, and we're not exactly sure what it is. But then we find out, oh, she turned them into fish. But they're not just normal fish. They're fish with human heads. Like, and even Gray points it out. We don't really look like fish. And Lucy's like, what? The transformation is like totally in sync. And of course, this is all thanks to Gemini. Power of Gemini is something else. They'll never suspect a thing. And Carla's like, are you sure about that? And Happy, this is super ironic for Happy because he loves eating the fish. And he's like, man, fish become humans, and the fish chase me, and then I turn into a fish. This is karma at its finest. That is what Happy lays out to them. It is karma at its finest. But Lucy goes on to say, yeah, Gemini has always been good at transformation magic. Usually just makes copies. But transforming into small animals, though, isn't like super tough. And Gray goes on to say, yeah, I just wish they'd do a better job at just, making the human faces into fish. And y'all remember what I was saying about Wendy? About her, you know, getting the image of a jellyfish in her head? Well, that's kind of what happens. Wendy becomes a jellyfish. And she's like, why am I the only one who turned into jellyfish? And Lucy, oh, she's like, I'm sorry, my magic ran out before I was done. So it was like one of those things of Lucy just came up with something last minute. And she's like, I'm pretty sure this is punishment for what I did to those jellyfish. Referring to last episode. They'll never suspect a thing. Let's slice them and dice them. So on and so forth. Gray, runs into the manager again, but the manager doesn't know shit of what's going on. Natsu and Lucy both like catch something and they're like, wait, what's up, Natsu? I smell human. Huh? And they all rush over to a cage. And the manager tells Gray, have you forgotten that we had captured one of the humans already? And that we're going to sacrifice her to Suijin-sama. Basically, who they were going to sacrifice was, Kiria. Who we come to find out in this episode that she is the, the dragon eater. And she is like so thrilled, so excited. It's like, oh, humans, the water dragon god is nearby. And that like scares the hell out of like Natsu. Lucy's like, wait, what the hell is that? Don't tell me. Your sacrifice awaits. And again, Kiria, breaks through the steels like it's like no big deal. I have to say, she looks amazing, okay? She already looked amazing in the manga, but seeing her in animated form, especially like, with the animation and everything, stunning as hell. Just want to say that right now. And she's like, I've been waiting for you, Water Dragon God. She breaks open the cage. She cut into the cages and whatnot. And she does take down this guy, like, with these. And it's like, wait, there's no way. There is absolutely no way that I could have taken you down that easily. And we come to find out, no, that's not exactly what we get. We come to find out this was just a lackey, an assistant of sorts that was sent down to devour Kiria, basically. But due to this, Kiria notices that, oh, you guys are humans. Entertain me for a bit. Okay? Like, let me feel enthralled with what's going on. They have a nice little exchange. At least she does with Natsu initially. And we get a confirmation of what she is. She's a dragon slayer. But not any normal dragon slayer. Because you have to remember, the first dragon slayers are the ones who receive their powers directly from the dragons. Those are first generations. The second generation dragon slayers are the ones with Lacrima. And the third one, like Generation 3, is like a combination of both Dragon Slayers. And the fourth one, they're simply based around, man-made like magical weapons, which are called Ex Nilos? If I remember correctly, I think that's what they're called. And then you've got the fifth Dragon Slayers, which is what Kiria is. And they're Dragon Slayers who gain the power by making a meal out of the dragons. Basically, they devour them. By eating the dragons, they gain the strength. So that's basically what she means by fifth generation dragon slayers. But you see what happens, what's about to go down. And that's actually the end of chapter 6. But that's not where the episode ends. The last portion of the episode actually ends at chapter 7, which is kind of fitting because chapter 7 is called The Sea of the Dragons, much like how this episode is titled Sea of the Dragons. So you have this confrontation go down very briefly between Natsu and Kiria. Kiria kind of lays a bit on Natsu per se. Initially, Natsu does try to fight back with his attack, but obviously it doesn't necessarily work because they are in underwater, right? Not and Happy's the one that kind of points that out. But that basically just leaves Lucy to do what she can to fight Kiria. And of course, Kiria uses her attack and not only just like cuts through Lucy's attack, kind of also just cuts through Lucy's outfit too. She's like, God, like why? Why does this have to happen a second time? Like, I don't. Why? Why am I the one being targeted? But she doesn't give up. She goes through another outfit change, but same result. Okay. Before that could happen, though, Gray steps in. Gray steps in. They kind of explain what's going on, but that still doesn't stop Kiria because Kiria is able to break through Gray's ice. And right when that happens, Urza steps in, going in for the attack. And this is where Madmo comes in. Or I like to say Mr. Cha-Man, because this dude, he's funny as shit, okay? He just his comments. He's like, I was worried about you, Cha. And Natsu's like, what, there's two of them now? He stopped Urza's sword with his head. Yeah, I forgot to mention. Urza came in with the sword. But this guy does absolutely nothing. Nothing to him. Okay? They're trying to figure out what's going on. But they all know this is going to lead to a chance of the water dragon god showing up. And that's exactly what happens. Because you see the tides like just like shifting course, okay? The water starts to break down. And right as that's happening, okay, like they even mentioned it. Water's parting, trying to figure out what's happening. And the water dragon god himself, Suijin, aka Mercphobia, appears in the scene. And that's where the episode ends. And he's like, yeah, there seems to be a disturbance in my sea. And Natsu just questions, like, yo, wait a minute. This guy's human? What? What? Hold on. This man is human. And that is basically the end of the episode, is just that. So, given that, again, we covered 4 chapters in this episode. Chapters 4, 5, and 6. Basically, again, chapter 7 was titled The Sea of the Dragons, which was this episode. Chapter 6 was titled The Slaying Blade. Chapter 5, The Sealing of the 5 Dragons. And chapter 4 being Amazing Ermina. Now, with that said, like I said before, there were a couple cuts made in the episode from the manga. But I don't necessarily think the cuts that were made in the episode were bad necessarily. And in fact, we do have like a couple like skirmishes that happen, okay? Like one little quick exchange of a battle between Kiria and Natsu just very briefly, and Kiria and Lucy. Again, just very, very, very briefly. But with what we were able to get from the episode, with the handling from JC staff, once again, they're doing great. They're doing a great job with the episode. And with where the cliffhanger is from this episode in particular, spot on. Really, really amazing. In more ways than one. But that is going to leave you wondering, well, if we're tackling 4 chapters per episode, because keeping in mind, last week we covered 3 chapters, okay? The first 3 chapters of 100 Years Quest. This week we tackled 4. And if we go by the episodes themselves for 100 Years Quest, if I'm looking at it, let's go to the episodes for 100 Years Quest and see. So the next episode title is called Blade, Armor, and Ash, which, again, I'm not going to spoil for anime onlys, but if you're curious, I'll at least tell you what chapter that'll be. So that'll be up until, at the very least, chapter 11. Which, again, not spoiling what's going to be in the actual episode itself. But If we go up to that, it'll be an interesting cliffhanger. I'm not gonna lie, but 3 chapters now. There is one like huge, and I mean huge moment that does occur early on in 100 Years Quest from the manga, and I do have to wonder, in order to maintain the pacing that they have for 100 Years Quest, if they want to keep the same suspense for the anime like they did in the manga, again, I won't spoil what that is. But if they want to, I have to wonder, will they cover. Yeah, no, 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 no. I really do have to wonder, like, will they be able to cover, up to that point and just end the episode? Like, if I have to think on when this moment will occur in the anime, probably episode 5, if I'm guessing this correctly. Let me think real quick, because I gotta look back on chapter 9. Actually, no, 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 no. Let me not mention chapter titles, but let me just see if this is where it happens. Gotta see real quick. Is this where it happens? Actually, yeah, it does. So let's see. If we cover 4 chapters an episode, because this one we covered up until chapter 7. So actually, no, yeah, we do cover 4 chapters. Let me see here real quick. So 9, 10, okay, so the next one will cover at least. So yeah, if we cover 4 chapters an episode again, let me see here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so yeah, if they maintain this episode like link, like covering this amount of content per episode, there again, I'm not gonna spoil what the moment is, but if they keep the pace of what they're going, they're gonna get to a very huge like, whoa, wait a second, this is what's happening. It'll be shocking in and of itself. And I hope that JC does that, okay? I hope they do. Because this moment that will occur in the anime, it's going to be a huge, massive talking point in and of itself. And honestly speaking, I can't wait. But okay, that being said, animation wise, great. Okay, they did an amazing job with the animation. When it comes to the art style, obviously, really, really great, really awesome. Voice acting's on point too. Same with the OST, very great. When it comes to the cut content, I think I've already rested my case on this. It's very minor stuff, but if you're a fan of Nalu, like myself, obviously it's gonna feel a little bit like, man. Again, it's not like a huge significant moment. It's just like it's a very fun detail that's in the actual like chapter, right? So obviously, when you're coming from a manga reader perspective and you're watching the episode, it is one of those things of like, as small as that moment was, it would have been great just seeing it. And just based on that, it's again a minor nitpick altogether. But the episode did deliver. And that is the most important thing. Did the episode deliver? And quite honestly, the episode did deliver in more ways than one. There are no complaints about that whatsoever. This episode did do what it needed to do. It gave us a little bit of action. We got to figure out what was going on in the town of Ermina. We got introduced to a new group of villains, which is Diablos. I didn't even get a chance to reference that. We get introduced to 2 villains, which is Kyria and Madmal, Mr. Chaw. And case in point, again, we're 2 episodes in, and we've already run into the water dragon god, Suijin, aka Mercphobia. And where we go is going to be interesting to see. Definitely. But my overall rating on this episode of Fairy Tale 100 Years Quest Episode 2, I'll go ahead and give it an amazing. And I'm only giving it an amazing simply because, again, there were a couple cuts, but cuts are kind of minor. In the grand scheme of the things of the narrative, the couple cuts that were in the from the manga is super minor in the grand scheme of things. Now, like I said, if they cut super significant moments from from the manga in the anime, then I'll start having my gripes. But so far, pretty good for the most part. But with that being said, you guys, those are pretty much my thoughts when it comes to Fairy Tale, well, 100 Years Quest Episode 2. What were your thoughts on this episode of 100 Years Quest? Do you have any gripes with the episode? And for manga readers, for the very small amount of like minor details that were cut from the anime, how do y'all feel about that? And how do you guys feel about the adaptation of the anime so far, just 2 episodes in? And one more thing before I go, and I mentioned this last week, but I won't be able to tackle a live stream discussion on episode 3 when it comes out because I'll be out of town from Sunday, from the following Sunday to Saturday. So I won't be able to do a stream discussion on on that episode for that week. Instead, what you're going to get is a like a dual episode discussion with episodes 3 and episode 4 together. And that'll be something I save for not the following Monday, not the, what will this be? The 22nd? So not the 22nd, but it'll be saved for the 29th. So you're going to have to, so the next live stream discussion for the anime, you're going to have to wait until like at least, another 2 weeks, essentially. But with that being said, you guys, that is pretty much all I have to say when it comes to this live stream discussion / review for Fairy Tale 100 Years Quest Episode 2, The Sea of the Dragon. And aside from that, guys, it's from shit. Like I said before, the episode rating as a whole is amazing. I'm Lucky Rave. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more Fairy Tale content, Hero Mashima content, and I will catch you guys on the flip side. Later.